Hi, Ava. Hmm. Hmm, that's an interesting painting. It reminds me of Picasso. Hi, Mary. How are you? Cannot hear you, but I love your painting behind you.
Hello. Okay. I was on mute. Sorry.
That's right.
That was another one of my creations.
Did you create it that big, or it's a
Yeah.
background?
No,
Oh,
no. I created it that big. I don't
cool.
know what it is. It's probably 24 by 18,
Oh, it's way more than it's more than, well, might be 24 by 18.
or maybe it's more. I don't know. I've never measured it.
It looks like it's canvas or something.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. How are
Yeah.
you, Skip?
I'm pretty good today.
Hmm?
Overall, our children decided not to come to school today, so
Oh, so you had an easy day.
yeah, relatively easy.
Ah, that's nice. That's nice to happen every now and again, isn't it?
Yeah, boy, that's for sure. That was
Uh,
first period. I was chasing one, trying to get him to come to school. So I had to call his mother and then his parole officer.
oh,
Yeah,
God.
I don't understand why um, there's any question in his mind about why to come to school if his parole officer has got the alternative for him.
Oh,
So,
but do they have a parole officer when they've been in prison or?
well, they get a parole officer if they decide not to put him in juvenile detention,
Oh, I see.
right? So
Mm,
he's probably been in one of these gangs that has been ripping off the malls. There these swarms of kids go into shopping malls and they start stealing stuff as much as they can grab, and then they run out before anybody can respond. Except the police do respond pretty quickly, and
mm,
so then the kids get taken to court. Well,
mm.
that gets their attention,
I bet it does. Uh,
and then they end up in shackles, in a with an ankle bracelet, so they can't get away too far.
do they have to wear that all the time?
Oh yeah, doesn't come off even in the
Oh,
shower.
oh my God.
Yeah. So
Is that on one leg or on both?
one leg, only
Mm.
on one.
Is it kind
After,
of like
hmm?
electronic? Is it an electronic thing?
Yeah.
Mm.
And so it can track them wherever they are
Uh,
if they're not going to school. They know how to find them.
mm. So if he's being lazy and staying in his bed, they know where he is.
God
Mm,
knows. At this stage, when kids are 13, 14 years old and they're getting to us, it may be too late to help them without a stint in jail. They try not to send kids to jail, the courts, so they try to just give them a severe warning and put the shackle on them and say, here's your parole officer, check in with them and don't do anything bad. But if you do something bad, you're going to the slam,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I don't know what his thinking is in terms of not showing up for school. Because the alternative is either go to school or go into prison, into juvenile detention.
Oh,
And they won't like that much, as you can
no,
well, huh?
no, as you can imagine. Isn't it a great privilege to be able to go to school?
It sure is. I mean, when you think about it,
Mm,
the parents are giving them shelter and food and all the things that parents do, for better or for worse. I mean, a lot of these kids do not have a father in the household, and so it's just the mothers. But their mothers want for them to go to school, and but they they say, no, I'm not doing it. Well, you can go to juvenile detention and do it. You'll like that even less than what we're doing.
wow.
So anyhow, we'll wait another couple minutes here, and Ava is with us, and
Hello, Ava.
I don't remember. I'm going to go look right now and see who
Hello,
else.
hello. I'm
Hi,
here.
Ava.
I'm
Oh,
making some tea.
Ah, good. So you'll stay awake.
Yes, yeah.
You don't have to stay awake on our account. I'm just looking for how far I got. Um, in Oh my God. Okay. All right. Let me just see if I'm just trying to see where I got to in terms of publishing. Um, so I got up to October 22nd. So I guess that means I got 5 of them up, or maybe it's 4. I'm not sure which. Um, so we're about a month ahead of what's been published so far. Here's Merritt's. Hi, Merritt's.
Hi.
hiya,
We
mates.
we
Hi,
haven't
Mary. Hi, Eva.
we haven't
I
started
see.
yet. Yeah, we're
Oh,
about to start.
oh, good.
Here's
I got distracted when I saw it was 7:02. Oh my
hmm
God, I don't know how to say the time in English.
Yeah, 7:02 would be right.
Uh, and I thought I was very late. Not very late, but a little bit late.
Yeah. Well, people are coming here. Here's
Yeah.
Melis here and coming in, and Angie's here.
Hi, Angie and Amela.
Hello. I logged in an hour earlier. Then I got the time wrong.
You've got your mittens on to stay warm, I see.
Oh, it's very chilly now. It's turning cold.
hmm Is it cold for you too, Mary?
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
I've had to get out the wool and I feel the cold a lot because it's been raining a lot and it's been quite cold in the last couple of days.
Well, it's 53 degrees here in Annapolis right now,
Wow.
which would be about 10 degrees Celsius, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's warm by comparison, I suppose. Okay, I'm gonna start, and
Okay.
we're hopefully we might get to the end of this set of stories, and then we'll be up to Vasilisa the Wise. The retrieval of intuition as initiation. Okay, so tracking and looping, and somebody is supposed to remind me that I should put it up on the screen, and I keep forgetting. So give me 1 minute, I'll get it up on the screen. Not that. Sorry, I'm having to do a search on my computer to find that.
Have you got it?
Well, not as yet, but okay, I have one other place I can look. For some reason, it hasn't been allowing me to save the thing, so
I think I emailed you a copy, you know. You might
yeah,
have.
but it's not letting me save the copy.
Okay.
All right, so I can try Angie. Okay, here's Diane.
Penelope sent one as well.
Yeah. And there's Azine. Hello. I'm just, oh, foo.
I can resend it.
Okay, wait a second. I think I can get it, but yeah, I think I've got it now. Yep. 'Tis here. I just have to now get to the need. Page 45. So I'm not putting it on your screen because it'll just make you dizzy. Scrolling, I'm in the book. I'm just about 20 pages away from where we are. Keep going, keep going. Okay, I'm there finally. Okay, I can share this. First, I have to get back in my Zoom, however. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
All right, Marby. Okay, so we're doing backtracking and looping. And I guess I'll read it off the screen since that way I'll know where we are. Backtracking and looping are terms that describe an animal diving underground to escape and then popping up behind the predator's back. This is the psychic maneuver which Bluebeard's wife effects in order to reestablish her sovereignty over her own life once again. Bluebeard, upon discovering what he deems to be his wife's deceit, seizes her by her hair and drags her down the stairs. Now it is your turn, he roars. The killing element of the unconscious rises up and threatens to destroy the conscious woman. Analysis, analysis, dream interpretation, self-knowing exploration, all are undertaken because they are ways of backtracking and looping. They are ways of diving down and coming up behind the issue and seeing it from a different perspective without the ability to truly see what is learned about ego self, and the numinous self slips away. Okay, I do have to go back to the book. Okay. In Bluebeard, the psyche now tries to avoid being killed. No longer, my vision is not ideal. Okay. In Bluebeard, the psyche now tries to avoid being killed. No longer naive, it has become cunning. It pleads for time to compose itself. In other words, time to strengthen itself for the final battle. In outer reality, we find women planning their escapes too, whether from an old destructive mode, a lover, or a job. She stalls for time. She bides her time. And, see who's here. Oh, there's Tim. Good. Hi, Tim. Good to see you. I'm trying to find myself where I am. Analysis, dream interpretation, self-knowing, exploration, all undertaken because they are ways of backtracking and looping. They are ways of diving down and coming up again behind the issue and seeing it from a different perspective. Sorry, I just lost my place again. Seeing it from a different perspective. Oh, without the ability to see, truly see what is learned from ego self, and the numinous self slips away. In Bluebeard, the psyche now tries to, just a second. Just trying to figure out how I can see this the best. Okay.
I'm sorry, but can I ask a question?
Sure.
I thought, how did we get this far? The
Well,
last time we were way ahead of where we stopped last Wednesday, aren't
well,
we?
no, this is where we stopped. I marked it 11/5/25. I have the marker.
So I know I left early.
You wasn't with us, Diane, the last time.
I left early. I know that.
Yes, yeah.
We just finished the key to knowing. But
Yes.
I mean, you read
This is
this
the place where we stopped last time.
So you read this much more. Two more sections. Blood scent, the animal groom. You read all of that. Wow.
We got through
You
quite
really sped
late.
along there. Okay, sorry. I didn't know. You're reading faster than normal. Go ahead.
Maybe I didn't stop as much, Diane, because
Okay.
but I mean I'm willing to have somebody else read.
No, you just found your place, didn't you?
I did. It's
Okay.
the sentence that begins in Bluebeard.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm with you.
Okay, so I'd be happy if somebody else wanted to read at this point.
Okay, I'll read if you don't.
Yeah,
it's okay with you.
Go ahead.
In Bluebeard, the psyche now tries to avoid being killed. No longer naive, it has become cunning. It pleads for time to compose itself. In other words, time to strengthen itself for the final battle. In outer reality, we find women planning their escapes too, whether from an old destructive mode, a lover, or a job. She stalls for time. She bides for time. She plans her strategy and calls up her power internally before she makes an external change. Sometimes it is just this kind of immense threat from the predator that causes a woman to change from being an adaptive deer to having the hooded eye of the watchful. Ironically, both aspects of the psyche, the predator and the young potential, reach their boiling point. When a woman understands that she has been prey, both in the outer and the inner worlds, she can hardly bear it. It strikes at the root of who she is at center, and she plans as she must to kill the predatory force. Meanwhile, her predatory complex is enraged that she has pried open the forbidden door and is busily making its rounds, attempting to cut off all avenues of her escape. This destructive force becomes murderous and says the woman has violated the Holy of Holies and now must die. When opposing aspect of a woman's psyche both reach their flash points, a woman may feel incredibly tired, for her libido is being drawn away in two opposite directions. But even if a woman is fatigued unto death with her miserable struggles, no matter what they might be, even though she may be starved of soul, she must yet plan her escape. A woman must force herself forward anyway. At this critical time, it's like being in sub-zero weather for a day and a night. In order to survive, we must not give in to the fatigue. To go to sleep now is certain death. This is the more profound initiation. a woman's initiation into her proper instinctive senses, wherein the predator is identified and banished. This is the moment at which the captured woman moves from victim stance into shrewd-minded, wily-eyed, sharp-eared status instead. This is the time that almost superhuman effort manages to drive the so-tired psyche to its final work. The key questions continue to help, for the key continues to bleed its wise blood, even as the predator forbids consciousness. His maniacal message is, for consciousness you die. Her response is to trick him into thinking she is his willing victim while she plans his demise. Among animals, there is said to be a mysterious psychic dance between predator and prey. It is said that the prey gives a certain kind of servile eye contact and a certain kind of shiver that causes a faint rippling of the skin over its muscles, that the prey acknowledges its weakness to the predator and agrees to become the predator's victim. There are times to shiver and run, and there are times to not. At this critical time, a woman must not shiver and must not grovel. Bluebeard's young wife's plea for time to gather herself together is not the signal of submission to the predator. It is her shrewd way of gathering her energy up into muscle. Like certain creatures of the forest, she is poised to make an all-out strike against the predator. She dives into the ground to escape the predator, then unexpectedly surfaces behind him. Yep.
Yeah, thank you. All right, where are we?
We just finished this section.
Okay, so we're up to the sin eaters.
Giving the crime. We're up to giving the crime.
Huh?
The next
We're up to
section.
giving the cry, but we haven't discussed it. I mean, somebody might want to have something to say
Yeah, I would
about
think.
that section.
Oh, giving the cry. Where's that? Oh, okay, here it is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, since I read a little bit ahead, but I didn't get this far. So, I'd rather somebody. I don't have any comment yet because I have missed so much. But it sounds so instinctual, doesn't it? I mean, this
Yeah.
gathering our muscles up, and
Well, and I mean, I remember a video that I saw of animals behaving in the Serengeti, and there was a lion that was chasing a wildebeest or something like that, and the lion was getting closer and closer, and suddenly there came a time when the lion just flipped over, or I'm sorry, the wildebeest just flipped over and offered its neck to the lion.
yeah. Mm.
You know, that it just gives up and says, okay,
Mhm.
do it if you're going to do it. Right? It gives up. And let me stop this share just for a minute. Yes, Tim is there. And Azine, where I just weren't seeing you there on the side. Okay, let's go back.
Hello.
Tim and his cat.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Jane Austen says hi.
Ah, they're the cats, and I'm talking about the cats and what they do. They go
Yeah.
find a creature that will offer its neck. Okay. All
Well,
right.
that looks like it might be Tim because that cat's right in the back of his neck.
Yeah,
That's right. She's
so cute.
very friendly.
Okay.
Cat
I
Tim,
don't know. Please go ahead.
Pardon?
is the cat Tim Jr.?
What's the
Her name is Mochi.
Mochi?
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's
Like
about 6 months old.
like a rice ball?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, I mean that's what mochi is, a rice ball in Japanese.
A fluffy
Yes.
rice ball.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Hello
don't have
there.
I don't have anything specific to tell about this part that we read, but as
Mhm.
I was listening to this, I was just feeling this tremendous weight of thousands of years of suppression and being basically perceived as a prey. And I was just feeling how hard it is. I mean, getting out of this situation, all of this weight on you. And for our generation, I was born in a family they were feminists. My grandmother was the head of a feminist group in Iran.
Mhm.
My mom also, my father was also a very feminist man. But so at some level, I never understood the pressure on the surface. It was an ongoing battle that I was born into it. But I was thinking right now that about this pressure and how real it was in my life,
Mhm.
despite the fact that I was born in a feminist family. I was
Well,
successful as a woman, but it's just horrible.
surely.
It's really horrible. And also with the men, the animal in men is they're going through a tremendous change,
Yeah.
and we take it lightly, like we can handle everything with discussions on our mind and this stuff, but psychologically it's just like I'm beginning to understand giving up for the first time in my life. I
Well,
never understood that, but now I'm beginning to understand.
it's very interesting that you mentioned the women's movement, because I think the women's movement in the United States um, thought that they had achieved a landmark with Roe v. Wade and with the events that have come after Roe v. Wade. And there, you know, a lot of them, I think, are shocked and offended, and including Colleen, for example, that they're being dragged back by the current behavior of our current administration. And maybe that's going to catapult them forward. I don't know. I heard today that something like 20,000 emails from the Epstein files have been released because they were in the possession of
Okay.
the family. They were in possession of the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. And so they were subpoenaed and released. And so now today, all those emails have become public, and now they have at least one email. Debbie told me on my way home, so I don't have all the details, but Debbie told me at least one email identifies Donald Trump with this woman, Giuffre, who committed suicide in the spring. And so the patriarchy is fighting very hard to keep all this stuff from coming out and becoming public, but they're ultimately losing this fight, I think. That seems to be what's happening. Tim?
Say, I've got to take off, but it's been lovely to see you for these 6 minutes.
Okay.
You all got to see our new cat.
Yes, hooray.
So
We
All
get to
right.
see your painting in the background there. That's
yes.
cool.
And tell Sam hello for me.
Yeah, tell Sam
Yeah.
hello.
I'll do that.
We
All
miss
right.
you
Take
all.
care.
Take care now. Peace.
Bye now.
Bye. Okay. So does anybody want to comment on that?
Which
Yeah,
part?
I do.
Go ahead.
I was thinking about, going from the victim to the survivor to the ones that bring the change. It's like 3 stages. And with these Epstein emails coming out, listening to some of the survivors, you can see they've moved from just being the victim of
Yes.
these terrible events in their lives, and now they're becoming really vocal, and they're actually forcing the change. And it
Yes.
reminds me of what happened in Ireland with the women to do with the survivors. It was 4 women who brought the change in Ireland.
What was the change though that you're talking about, Mary?
The change was about the institutional abuse
Oh, okay.
in the Catholic Church.
Uh-huh.
And that was hidden for years and years. And
Centuries.
suddenly, well, we're talking about a period of time from the 1900s through to it really came to public consciousness in 1996,
Yep.
and that was a period where, the women and the children were terrified to speak about it. And
Mhm.
suddenly one of the archbishops went on television, and he said he was complaining about China and the dying rooms in China.
Uh-huh.
And these 4 women said, you want to go and look in your own backyard before you start criticizing China.
Yep.
And when that happened, the women moved from being victims
Mhm.
to being survivors and then becoming activists. And in this paragraph, on page 60, it talks about the profound initiation, a woman's initiation into her proper instinctive self, wherein the predator is identified and banished.
Well, I think that's what we're seeing right now with the
Yeah.
Epstein material, that the women are coming into their own, and I think we're going to see the predators. I expect the predators are going to be more completely punished, which is why Trump doesn't want it to come out, because I think that there are a lot of very influential men who are probably in these files. That's what I expect. And it's going to
Well, I don't think we're there yet.
well, we're not there yet, but I don't know. Did you hear today that there was a release of something
Yes,
like
I did.
20,000
But,
emails or something?
there are women in Trump's and his
entourage.
Yeah.
entourage that are trying to cover up for him as well.
I know.
And there will be scapegoats yet. We've got to go through the scapegoating stage. They'll put people up front to take the flag. I think Epstein might have been one of the first ones of those. and they'll hope that they'll keep.
Andrew was probably another one.
I think
He's
Andrew was
already,
thrown under
yeah.
the train. I think he
Right.
was the one
Mhm.
thrown under the train. And they're big names and they're hoping that that's going to be enough, but it's not.
It's
So it's
not going to
still
be enough.
picking up the momentum. So I don't know how far it will go, but I think the real power, I don't know if they'll get them. They don't, I don't know.
I
Well, we'll
think it's
see.
not, it's just, as we said, it's just the surface that, oh, there was sexual abuse. The sexual abuse was not about sex. It was a leverage used for controlling the man in power.
Yeah.
So, and the whole system was built on young women being preyed, you know.
Yeah. Pretty proud.
But also what Mary said about the stages, I couldn't quite get what's the meaning of coming behind the predator, coming out behind the predator. But I think that's it. Like when you turn from a victim into a hero, an agent of change, and you come out behind the predator where they did not expect you,
Right.
and you got them, you know,
Yeah.
I
you
could
got
really
them.
relate to that. I could really relate to that actually, Azine. I've done that before where confrontation is not going to win the situation and you've got to sometimes pretend that somebody's got you.
Yeah,
Keep yourself safe and then you make your
I see.
you get out when you can.
Yeah.
I've been in that place and I could really relate to that, you know.
Do you mind sharing?
Reminded me of Tom Cruise's wife. What was her name? That she
Kids.
planned for
What's her
years
name?
for getting out of that Scientology cult, and
Yeah.
she really did a number on Tom Cruise.
Somebody was telling me actually on Sunday that when her mum passed away, she said, "Oh, they found there was like something like I don't know, £30,000 under the mattress." She said, "Oh, you know, that was her running away money," and it was just like spoken about as if that was something that older women sometimes always kept for that one day that they might.
Yeah. It's called Mad Money here.
Not in a bank; it's under the mattress.
Well, and I consciously give Debbie that money here. I mean, I have no personal savings, but all of the savings that Debbie and I have as a couple are in her name, not my name. Partially because I don't want to have a failure in business and have them take our money. And so I don't try to have it in my own name. Right. But, you know, these days, since Debbie's not working any longer, I'm the breadwinner again after years that she was the breadwinner. And I give her the money to operate the household and more to boot. Right. The only money I would have if I left teaching would be the retirement money that I have set aside through teaching. And so but anyway, my point is a different one. I think that the people of the original women's rights movement, which includes Colleen, our dear friend, have been well, as Colleen said, when Kamala Harris was not elected, she said, "I feel stood up." Right? She expected Kamala to win, and I expected Kamala to win. And I can't believe how stupid the young men are who elected our president. But I don't
There's
think.
something about that feminist movement that last, like late the 1970s one, that it not only impacted women, but it's like I felt like I can't quite get my hands on it. But somehow women, it's like they're trying to be men. And somehow within that, men have become deballed. And it's the women just ended up, you know, they can work now and they can earn as much money as men. But so what? What freedoms have they got to be women?
Yeah,
And what happened to men in that? Something's happened to men that men have lost something as well. And
yeah, because it used to be in my parents' age, and Diane, maybe you can confirm this, but in my parents' age, my mother could have me list on my school papers that her occupation was housewife.
yeah.
I don't think any women identify themselves as housewife anymore, or housewife.
Angie,
No,
Angie,
they have a new word for it,
What is it?
homemaker.
Homemaker. Well, homemaker is the other one that was used, but um,
Well, there are some women who choose to
to do
stay
that,
home while their children
right?
are young.
And
And
when you're
it's
raising
to
your
be
children,
valued.
there's nothing. It's a valuable thing, right? And so I have two daughters at least who are doing that right now, but I think they fully expect to go back in the workforce at some point. And but the point is that back in the 50s, men could support a family of three and own a home and so on, all on on a man's salary. But nowadays, you have to have two salaries. You have to have both in order to be able to afford to keep up the level of your standard of living. Okay, that's
Angie,
Yeah.
go ahead, Izzy.
Angie, I think I'm not sure if you know about men's movement. Do you know anything about it?
Yeah,
Robert
so
Bly.
I'm not a social psychologist, but I've heard a lot of men in work, social psychologists, they talk a lot about masculinity in crisis, and there's a lot of research looking at
Yeah, there was a movement, I think back in 60s and 70s with Joseph Campbell, James Hillman,
yeah,
Robert Bly,
Oh, that was the 90s, not the 60s.
90s. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
And Robert A. Johnson, all these Jungians, and
yeah,
they had this
Started in the
it was
80s,
made
actually.
it was
yeah,
named man mythopoetic movement.
right.
Hmm.
And there's a couple of videos on YouTube. That's how I stumbled upon this subject, that there was this movement. And Robert Bly basically talks about what you're saying, that feminist movement has somehow castrated man.
well,
And
yeah,
in feminism, there are several waves, as you know. And the first and second waves, it was like that. But the recent waves of feminism, it's about finding the feminine power,
yeah,
feminine judgment, feminine rules, feminine law, and everything is just
And
because
values,
the feminist
feminine values.
really
feminine
important,
values,
yeah,
right?
because that's not what happened. It was like women fighting to be men in those second
Yeah,
wave.
I
It's
think
like the
we're
liberal
passing
feminine.
that stage.
Yeah,
We're passing that stage. Like I remember when Hillary Clinton, people were thinking that, oh, Hillary is a feminist. I was always saying she is not a feminist because her values are patriarchic. She's like
Definitely.
Athena. She's like
Yeah,
Athena in Olympian gods. She's a protector of patriarchy,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
but in a female body. But I think we are passing that stage.
I
And
cousin.
hi.
I think Hillary Clinton is secretly a butch.
But
Feminist in the nighttime, she goes to the gay clubs and wins those what do you call those
Yeah.
arm wrestling matches in the bars.
But anyways, I suggest if I find it, I can send you the link. But if you go to YouTube and I don't know the name, any mythopoetical
I'll find it.
movement.
I've got Robert Blythe.
Robert
I'll find.
Bly.
Yeah, I'll have
Well,
And
a
the first time that I watched that video, I was crying. I was crying my eyes out because I realized that this kind of man that is powerful and supportive, this kind of father figure that is not castrated, you know, because we have these choices: an abusive, powerful, strong man and a weak man.
Yeah.
That could not support himself or the family.
yeah.
But I never realized, and I saw that in my family, my mother, my grandmother, they did castrate the male in the family, but all their lives they were looking for a man.
Yeah.
And all they found was boys.
That's the issue. That is
Yeah.
the issue. And
So it's a very interesting topic.
yeah, but just giving you my perspective from a man's point of view on the men's movement, I was not persuaded. Okay, I mean, because their shtick was, okay, they go into the room playing drums. And okay, I acknowledge from an archetypal point of view that if I'm in the presence of drums, it gets your blood going. But listening to it on a recording, which is what I did as well, it wasn't that persuasive to me. And then the idea of getting men back into hunting and things. I mean, I say why,
Yeah, I think the men's movement addressed the issue, but they didn't have answers.
Yeah.
Their answer was basically, let's go back.
Yes,
let's
hunter-gatherers.
go back
Yeah.
and regain our power.
Yeah.
Like Jordan Peterson, Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, sure.
He's asking interesting questions, but his answers are not progressive. They're backwards.
Yeah.
So I think man's movement was something like that. They addressed the issue, but the answer is in the future, as John Shinoda Bullen says, the earthly father, a man that is connected to his body, to his feelings, to the earth, and it's the future. I had a speech in CIAS. The title was very encouraging and everybody liked it. The title was The Next Step in Feminism. So everybody was curious. But what I talked about was what I said, that the next step in feminism is the rise of the new male God.
Yeah.
And we have to focus on that part. Without the help of that male energy, we're not going forward. And nobody liked it.
They wouldn't like it.
Well, nobody but one, at least, because last year when Colleen did her gathering up at Mount Madonna at New Year's last year, I urged her to do it without any men present, right? And ultimately, she did allow one man to be present, I guess. And now I think we could do it.
I think there should be a partnership. I think it has to be a partnership.
I agree with that. But I think that a year ago, women needed to lick their wounds from last year's election. And it wasn't going to be useful for men and women to talk about why Donald Trump was elected. That, that wasn't going to get anywhere. So it would be better for women to gather their strength, which is what they did, essentially, and then come out and present themselves. And I think the point of Colleen's life is that she did what she wanted to do most of her whole life, and she accomplished a hell of a lot. She has accomplished a hell of a lot, and she's still doing it. And so, I mean, she just sent me the catalog from last year's exhibition that she did with 22 other women. And it's another awesome book about Colleen and what the importance of her studio has been to the whole culture around Santa Cruz and around Aptos. And if that could happen more so, then men will be attracted to it too. I mean, I'm a part of that, and I want to participate in the future with Colleen, if possible, if that's possible. Did you see that? Did you see that catalog, Diane? Did you see that catalog?
I just saw bits and pieces of it.
Okay.
Not yet, but I think that probably in her meeting, I hope she's going to share some at the end of the month.
Okay.
They didn't have the meeting last month, the
Oh.
one she has.
Yeah,
Her Monday night meeting she has once a month
I see.
because they were exhausted from getting that done.
Right. Well, but she sent me a copy of the catalog, and I would buy a bunch more copies, and I told her that, and I'd also interview her online about the catalog if she wanted to, but she never responded to me. So anyway,
I think
Ava's
just
trying.
want to
Ava's trying to
mention-
say something.
Ava's turn. Ava's.
I'm just. I need to say that Martin Shaw is. He was had Robert Bly was his mentor, and he was in the Massachusetts. He is doing a very similar work with fairy tales in the same way that Clarissa is doing.
Mhm.
But,
Yeah.
and he's still he is very active right now
Mhm.
with in the corner of Verveke, Gilchrist, Jordan Peterson, and so on. This movement of.
Well, Jordan Peterson certainly created for himself a movement. There's no doubt.
Yes.
And then
But he didn't go so deep as Clarissa and Martin Shaw. Martin Shaw is much more. He's wider than Jordan Peterson had been. He's also. It's like he's disappearing right now. There is something happening, but Martin Shaw is very very active and very. I try to follow his substract, and he's very good at expressing. It's also good at choosing powerful words and. I can't describe it, but I like to read his substract.
So when you say Shaw, it's SHAW? Mark?
Yeah,
Yes,
yes, Diane,
yes.
you can.
Yes,
SHAW. Yeah.
he's a fantastic storyteller.
Yes,
He's
yes.
a fantastic storyteller. And he was, I don't think the men's
And
movement
he became
I don't think
Orthodox
the men's movement,
Christian too. He's also.
he wasn't when he was with Robert lie though, but I don't think that men's movement was anti-feminism.
No,
I'm
No,
not.
it wasn't anti. It
No.
wasn't anti at all.
It was supportive of
Yes,
the
yes, yes.
femi-
Yes.
Yeah,
It was just they had a parallel movement. Marianne Woodman, she was doing a lot of women's
right.
retreats and things like that. And there was some effort there to combine it with men, but it became a sexual thing. That's the problem.
It became a what?
Sexual thing. There was some kind of
Sexual overtone when it was combined.
yeah, and so it didn't work that well. That's why having the separate movements made it more, and of course it's about initiation. We don't have
It
the
is about
initiation,
initiation, very definitely.
and even the women's initiation is not sufficient either.
Yeah, correct.
And that's why we end up with women like this young, naive woman who was not prepared to deal with somebody like Bluebeard,
Right.
But and what I found disappointing about that story, the way it's told, is it was her brothers coming in to save her. So I'm sorry I missed all of the sections I missed, because I think it's talked more about her losing her naivete than the actual fairy tale did. But what Clarissa her analysis and everything has made it much more about the woman finding agency.
Right.
So I'm interested in why right now how it's talking about her becoming the predator. So, and when we talk about these women who were abused by Epstein, they have still been making too nice, probably, about it.
Making too nice?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, because they've held back.
They can't, it's hard when you have a tyrant as your president.
Yeah.
That is willing to just throw citizens in jail because they speak up.
Okay.
It would be very scary.
But anyway.
Yeah. Let me read. I'm going to read the last paragraph. I'm going to jump ahead just for a moment and read the last paragraph of a future section. Okay.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
I think it's about agency, and it's all about having choices, having options. Like when the door is locked, you don't have any option. When you have all the keys, you have the options. With feminism, it looked like for a while that it's about women going outside doing some work.
Mm.
But now it's about having a choice that I want to be a homemaker.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not forced. This is not the only thing that I'm destined to do. I can do a lot of things, but I choose to be a homemaker.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's another point. Having the key.
Do you know what, Azim? The basic battles are still going on. Maybe not in our countries, but I've got a student working with me this year who's doing a dissertation around female abuse in Nigerian women. I spoke to her about how she can talk about support networks.
Mm-hmm.
She said the communities, and in particular the churches, tell the women to put up and shut up. So the good fight is still going on.
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
and that woman has come through that. So she's now wants to get that written up her thesis so that, she's got a message to give other women, to empower them to find a way out.
Sure.
It's not the cutting edge feminism. The cutting edge feminism is just about
you're right.
feminine energy,
Yeah, you're
not
right.
not women.
You've still got
You know what I mean?
still
Yeah.
got the bloody churches and those institutions of power, you know. There's
Well,
still,
okay.
but
And
there is a cutting edge. I do agree. Sorry, Skip. I'm going to shut up now.
well, I mean, there's one other thing that let's not lose sight of, since this is a Jungian reading group, that there are archetypal things going on here too. It's
Oh,
not just a social level.
Yeah.
Okay, there are archetypal things going on. Let me just read this last paragraph of a future section of this, and then I'll come back to where we were.
Can you tell us what section it is?
Well, okay, wait a minute. What section?
Never mind.
No, wait a minute.
Just
Wait a
read it.
minute. It's the Sin Eaters is the section, and I want to
I
read
see it.
the last
Okay.
paragraph. Okay.
Well, that
Perhaps
and my book is on 67 or 66 if anybody wants to look.
yeah, it's on 65 of my edition. But
Yeah.
it's a paragraph that begins perhaps most important. Okay, so I want to read that paragraph. Perhaps most important, the Bluebeard story raises to consciousness the psychic key, the ability to ask any and all questions about oneself, about one's family, one's endeavors, and about life all around. Then, like the wildish being who snuffs things out, snuffles into and under and around to discover what a thing is, a woman is free to find true answers to her deepest and darkest questions. She is free to find, she is free to wrest the powers from the thing which has assailed her and to turn those powers which were once against her to her own well-suited and excellent uses. That is a wildish woman. Okay. So let's talk about what that means for a moment.
I think that's really important. The key is to ask the right questions and
Right.
to be able to ask the questions, to
Yeah.
not have your voice not shut up, not told to shut up, you
Yeah.
know, and to ask the questions and to be heard too.
Surely.
And you ask the questions.
Right. And I mean, the way I read this is it's about growing up. Okay. It's about feeling when you're a child or a adolescent that you can't know everything. And at some point, you have to know everything. And so to me, it's about maturing into oneself. And granted, a lot of women were kept as children, in effect. I mean, if you're a kept woman and everything is taken care of for you, regardless of whether you're royalty or lower middle class, then you're kept from experiencing what your potential is. And so this is a coming to consciousness of the fact that you can do what you want to do. Okay. And in a sense, though, I had the reverse thing where for 17 years, I thought I had made a commitment to a marriage. I never envisioned that I could leave that marriage. And the only thing that persuaded me that I had to was when my daughter approached me about it by sending her little fishing line down the spiral staircase and saying, please stop fighting. And I realized that we couldn't, that we were just in a rut and there was no way to stop. And the only way I was going to be able to stop the fighting was by leaving. which I did. And then my first wife had to deal with the consequences of that. But that was me growing up and saying, okay, I don't have to sit here and take this abuse all the time. I have a similar relationship with one of my teachers at school, who every time I do anything in her classroom, it's wrong. And I haven't had a battle with her yet, but it's coming. And
Sorry.
no, but I
Sorry.
mean, that's the way some people are, and it's the way some people treat counterparts, whether men or women. But it was me having to grow up and realizing, first of all, that I could not stop fighting, and that I would need to leave in order for myself to stop fighting that battle, or those battles, because they were an accumulation of battles that just kept repeating over and over again. And the only way I could stop it was to leave. And so I think it's a question. It seems to me that it's a question of growing up and realizing that, there's a day after Prince Charming puts the silver slipper on your foot, right? Cinderella's all very good, but then what happens in the next 50 years? After Prince Charming puts the glass slipper on your feet, then what? Right? That's the question. And obviously that's an archetypal story. It gets repeated over and over again. So to me, and maybe I'm wrong, okay, and I'll shut up. Maybe I'm wrong, but to me, it seems that it's a stage of maturity that we're talking about here. That a woman figures out, enough is enough. I'm not going to take this crap anymore, right? And I'm going to take the responsibilities that I have to take for my family or what have you, but I'm going to do it my way because I can't change my husband or what have you.
There's a paradox here, because for young girls there's a lot of power in playing out the anima.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of power in that,
Yeah, huge.
In anthropology, they say that the person with the most power in the tribe is always the mother of the daughter, because she can hold sway over her daughter, and the daughter's got the power in the tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And but then a woman realizes that actually those things that you've got when you're 18 are not going to last. You can't build a life on good looks and
Yeah,
being agreeable and a winsome smile, or a twinkle in the eye. They're not going to get you through life. I could be wrong here. This is just my
yeah.
own
No, I
little.
agree with you entirely.
And then you think about competency is something better to build your life on. But when you're younger, it seems like I remember my mum saying, "Oh, there's a saying: a good-looking woman should never have to work in life." So there was all this, this idea when you're young that to be a woman, that's an asset that can be used, and I think that it's very dangerous. But I think it's something, and like Virginia Giuffre and these young girls that end up in dangerous situations.
Right. And it happens the other way with men, but the thing
Sure
is
it does.
money. They think
Sure it does.
money is the thing for the boys.
Yeah.
And so the risk in my student body is that they get into the drug trade
Yeah.
and end up dying. Okay. And according to one of my colleagues, 50% of our students will be dead by the age of 25. And that's been her experience for 15 years now, working there, working in that environment.
What percent? 50%?
50%. They either die from a drug overdose or they overstep their bounds within their drug trafficking gang, and somebody kills them, or somebody causes them to participate in one of these youth raids on a
That's a
shopping mall.
It's a lower mortality rate than most of the wild animals that really have to struggle for survival.
Right. Right.
I think beauty is power.
Yeah.
Sure.
Even with these girls with Epstein thing, I think they had power. They had the power there, but they did not know how to use it, and they were abused.
Yeah.
If
Of
I
course.
was young again, I would use that power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you can build a good life because it's important.
It's only
In nature, it's important for a woman to be beautiful.
Yeah. So this is the message that older women gave me when I was younger. I wasn't clever enough to even understand what it meant. But they said, use while you've got it.
Yeah.
Because my generation, my family, they valued intelligence.
Yeah.
And I was concerned, I was focused on building a character.
Yeah.
But then later I realized that men like to admire women with character, but they will always go too beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not, I mean,
That's my experience. That's my experience.
When I chose to go with Debbie, it wasn't because she was a great beauty. Okay, she hasn't been a great beauty. I mean, I knew her. Well, I've seen pictures of her when she was 22, and she was quite lissome and so on. But she was never a classic beauty in any sense of the word.
Yeah, but it can't that energy that women give out, that sexual kind of, I don't know, like libido, it can be in a smile or a laugh.
Surely,
define
but
beauty. Define beauty.
But those weren't
in the eyes of the beholder.
Okay, yeah, but I was beholding something different from a beautiful face or a beautiful figure per se. Okay, I was seeing a beauty that was important to me, that was much deeper than skin deep. Okay, and I remember consciously thinking, I look forward to being at dinner parties with Debbie and having people wonder why I selected Debbie as opposed to any other woman. Because at the time when I was 39 years old, I was sort of quite the catch. I was a virile man. I was in the Marine Corps, blah, blah, blah. And I could have caught any woman, but Debbie had something that was deeper than skin deep that I wanted to be a part of. And I mean, it's amazing to me how close we have become over the years. I mean, we've had our troubles from time to time, not big ones, but we've gotten over those, and they've made us much stronger, as opposed to, and we've left them in in the wake. I mean, the advice I always give people is if you have a fight with your spouse, once it's over, you should never speak of it again. You can't bring it up again. If you bring it up again, then you're back in the fight again. And so but in a sense that deepens the relationship, it seems to me. And I can only speak for a relationship of one couple, my own, but anyway, shall we go on?
Yes, I
Okay.
think we're for.
All right, Debbie wants me to try to end reasonably early tonight. So, okay, giving the cry. When Bluebeard bellows for his wife and she stalls for dear time, she is trying to rouse energy to overwhelm the captor, whether that specifically or in combination to be a destructive religion, husband, family, culture, or a woman's negative complexes. Bluebeard's wife pleads for her life, but craftily. Please, she whispers, allow me to prepare for my death. Yes, he snarls, but be ready. The young woman summons her psychic brothers. What do these represent in a woman's psyche? They are the more muscled, more naturally aggressive propellants of the psyche. They are the force within a woman which can act when it is time to kill. Although this attribute is here portrayed by the male gender, it can be portrayed by either gender and by other things which are genderless, such as the mountain which snaps shut on the intruder, the sun which descends for an instant to burn the marauder to a crisp. The wife races up the stairs to her chamber and posts her sisters on the rampart. She cries up to her sisters, do you see our brothers coming yet? And her sisters call down that they see nothing yet. As Bluebeard roars for his wife to come to the cellar so he can behead her, again she cries, do you see our brothers coming? And her sisters call down that perhaps they see a little dust devil or a whirlwind off in the distance. Here we have the entire scene of the woman's surge of intrapsychic power. Her sisters, the wiser ones, take center stage in this last initiatory step. They become her eyes. The woman's cry travels over a long intrapsychic distance to where her brothers live, to where those aspects of psyche that are trained to fight to the death if necessary, live. But initially, the defending aspects of psyche are not immediately as close by to consciousness as they should be. Many women's alacrity in fighting natures are not as close to consciousness as is efficient. A woman must practice calling up or conjuring her contentious nature, her whirlwind, dust devil force. The symbol of the whirling wind is a central force of determination, which, when focused rather than scattered, gives tremendous energy to a woman. With this more fierce attitude at the ready, she will not lose consciousness or be interred along with the rest. She will solve, for once and for all, the interior woman killing, her loss of libido, the loss of her passion for life. While the key questions provide the opening and loosening required for her liberation, Without the eyes of the sisters, without the muscle of the sword-wielding brothers, she cannot fully succeed. Bluebeard shouts for his wife and begins to clomp up the stone steps. His wife cries to her sisters, and now? Do you see them now? And her sisters cry down, yes, we see them now. They are almost here. Her brothers gallop down the hall. They charge into her room and drive Bluebeard out onto the parapet. There, with swords, they kill him and leave what is left of him for the carrion eaters. When women resurface from their naivete, they draw with them and to themselves an internal masculine energy to her aid. In Jungian psychology, this element has been named animus, a partly mortal, partly instinctual, partly cultural element of a woman's psyche that shows up in fairy tales and in dream symbols as her son, husband, stranger, and or lover, possibly threatening depending on her psychic circumstances of the moment. This psychic figure is particularly valuable because it is invested with qualities which are traditionally bred out of women, aggression being one of the more common. When this opposite gender nature is healthy, as symbolized by the brothers in Bluebeard, it loves the woman it inhabits. It is the intrapsychic energy which helps her to accomplish anything she asks. He is the one who has psychic muscle, where she may have differing gifts. He will aid and assist her in her bid for consciousness. For many women, he bridges between the worlds of internal thought and feeling and the outer world. The stronger and more vast the animus, think of the animus as a bridge, the more able, easily, and with style the woman manifests her ideas and her creative work in the outer world in a concrete way. A woman with a poorly developed animus has lots of ideas and thoughts, but is unable to manifest them in the outer world. She always stops short of the organization or implementation of her wonderful images. The brothers represent the blessing of strength and action. With them, in the end, two things occur. One is that the vast and disabling ability of the predator is neutralized in a woman's psyche. And second, the blueberry-eyed maiden is replaced by one with eyes awake and a warrior to each side of her, and a warrior to each side of her if she but calls for them. Okay. Comments?
Oh, I love that bit.
Well, I have a big example of this, which I'll tell you about, but let others speak first.
Well, I have some personal examples of that.
Go ahead.
I was followed home once by someone, pulled up behind me in the car when I pulled into my carport.
Mm-hmm.
And he came up to my window, and suddenly I just yelled at him, "Get lost." And he got lost.
All right.
And then something happened last year. My husband, he had valve replacement, like Colleen's valve replacement
Yes.
that she had in February.
Oh my.
And we had some rental property. And we went to the rental property to do some work in that property.
Mm-hmm.
And when we got there, there were squatters in that apartment.
Uh-huh.
And to protect my husband, I stomped up the stairs and I said, "Who the hell are you and what are you doing here?"
Mm-hmm.
And the guy left. So we have that in us, that instinct, that protective instinct, and women for
Absolutely.
their children
Yeah.
too. And, you know, especially when we get, I was pretty young when that happened. When that guy drove up behind me. I mean, it surprised me too. But
Sure.
he turned around, he left. So, and, you have to do that as a woman to protect yourself. I mean, I took martial arts at one point.
Yeah.
So, and we are capable of that. But it
Sure.
takes, it does take some maturity to do it, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
But we have that instinct in us too.
no doubt.
It's very instinctual.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's not something like what happened to you, Angie, that you were talking about
I'm
the
just
looping.
now, yeah. So I can really relate to there's something within us, within women, that might be regarded as a bit masculine in the way that we live in society. It is a strength. And certainly it's come out in me in my life to protect others first. And then through doing that, I found how to protect myself. But initially, it wasn't there for my own protection. It really came out with my children. And I remember I got a thing in. We had we lived in a place, and there was a neighbour around the corner, and there was some worry with the neighbours about the safety of the man in there with around children.
mhm.
Been some problem around social services, and and this night it was about 2 o'clock in the morning. I could hear a child screaming, and all the neighbours were just complaining about it. And I thought, I can't. And I just went round at 2 o'clock in the morning and banged on the door. And the man came to the door and he was only small in his underpants and said, and I just said, do I need to ring an ambulance? Now, I had to be very clever. I couldn't be confrontational with this
Yeah.
man. He was very scary.
Mhm.
And I said, do I need to ring an ambulance? Because I can hear a child in pain screaming. And then but it took a lot of guts to do that and
Absolutely.
hold the anger in as well and do it in a very strategic way because I'm coming up against a predator.
Mhm.
And I think that's what I was relating to earlier, that sometimes you can't just respond. You've got to be very careful how you do it. And then what I did was the next morning I went round the school and reported into the school what was going on in that
Mhm.
area.
Yeah.
Um, Going and knocking at the door at 2 o'clock in the morning, that was like a gut response, just an instinct.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it was the strength of a woman wanting to protect a child.
I'm
And
sure he was very shocked.
he was, he didn't even change his expression. He was cool as a cucumber, and that made him even more scarier to me.
Yeah, sure.
He was a very scary little man.
Yeah.
And, and, but it's that needing to keep when you're facing a predator, there's that I could really relate to that backtracking and looping. I've done this a few times in life when you really come up against something that you can't ignore.
Yeah.
Um, and yet, I don't know if other women can relate to this, but I have been prompted to, really stick up for other people, and yet I've not been so good at doing it for myself.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone else has had that experience.
Other
Some
comments? I certainly have had a similar experience as a child. Okay. As a child feeling my manhood arrive when I was maybe 8 years old, and I was being chased by a German Shepherd. I was running away from him, and this dog was coming at me, and I just stopped stock still and
Oh, yeah.
turned around on the German Shepherd, and he went away.
Gosh, that's
He
like the being
He-
chased by the wolf.
Yeah, I mean, literally, that's exactly what it was. And so I had this dog chasing me. I turned around and just faced it, and it went away. And they always will. They always do. Okay, it's archetypal for them to run away if you do that. But it was also archetypally in me to defend myself in that way. If I'd kept running, he would have taken me down and he might easily have killed me.
This is a bit like what she was saying about that shivering when the prey, when you know experience it, because it's very embodied. This is
Yeah.
not really a mental something that's, and you know, even just talking about it now, I'm thinking you know there's an element of reflection here that you have to go back and think about what was going on in my body, because
Yeah.
I've seen people actually make themselves look bigger.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Sure. Sure.
when people are in that situation, they can. I used to wear really big chunky boots and walk around London late at night and never feel worried because I had my big boots on that would keep me safe. And somehow I don't know what I'd do with those
Yeah.
boots, but somehow I felt bigger in them.
I want to tell you all about a series, a television series that Deb and I have been watching for a while now, called The Diplomat. Is anybody familiar with this series? And I urge you to take a look at it. Okay, it's called The Diplomat. I think it's on Amazon, and it's on either Amazon or Netflix, but maybe it is
Netflix.
Yeah, maybe it is Netflix.
Netflix.
Okay, but um, the fascinating thing is that it follows a woman diplomat. Okay, and she has kind of a very healthy protector in her husband, but she's estranged from her husband, and and the whole show, first season, we're halfway through season 3 right now, but the first season is that they're called in. She and her husband have both been leading diplomats in the Middle East, and but he's on the outs right now, and they're called in, and the president's chief of staff approaches her and says, well, we have a problem with the vice president, and we're going to have to replace him. And we need for you to become the ambassador to the UK. A lot of this is filmed in the UK. We need for you to become the ambassador to the United Kingdom and prove yourself for 6 months so that you establish a persona that we can then put you in the vice presidency of the United States, replacing
But
the.
wasn't it a female vice president? Wasn't it
Yeah.
supposed to be Kamala Harris? Wasn't it supposed to be Kamala Harris then?
Well,
That,
I don't
I
know.
assumed it was because to replace Kamala Harris.
Well, okay.
Anyway,
It's
but yeah,
not,
never
it's
mind,
not,
never mind.
but okay, but the point is that
Mhm.
there's an interplay. I don't want to ruin the program for you, but there's an interplay between this woman who is the vice president, who happens to be Allison Janney, who played CJ in West Wing, but now she's 25 years older. She's had um, plastic surgery. But anyway, that's who it is. Allison Janney is playing the vice president in season 1. And this is the person that she's aimed at replacing. But the interlocutor throughout all of the program is the husband of the diplomat. Okay. who's
Ex-husband.
no, not
ex-husband.
ex-husband, not ex.
They're just estranged?
They're
Okay.
estranged, not ex.
Okay.
I don't want to go into the seasons and what happens because I don't want to spoil it for you. But amazing things happen in season 2 and season 3. I will tell you one thing. In season 1, a British ship has been sunk, and the prime minister wants to retaliate. Okay, and it comes around that the prime minister is basically accused of causing this attack, and that it wasn't the Russians at all. It was the prime minister orchestrating this attack on the British ship. And it turns out well into the show that the person who orchestrated the attack was the vice president, the American vice president. He orchestrated the whole thing, or she orchestrated the whole thing. And that's the reason they want to replace her. Okay. And so it turns out it wasn't the prime minister at all. It was this vice president. Okay. But the male between the two women is this hunk who's Rufus Sewell. I don't know if you know that actor, but Rufus Sewell, who has a very strong position between the two women. And what you see, I'm realizing it, particularly as I read this last segment in Women Who Run with the Wolves, is that you see him representing the animus figure and bringing out the necessary qualifications of both women. Okay. And so if you take every play or every movie that you see as a bunch of actors, all the actors represent parts of yourself. Okay. Each actor represents a part of your archetypal self. Then this program, I'm now realizing because of this last section, that this program is really demonstrating that and demonstrating what she's talking about here. And
that women, we have our inner animus.
You have
our inner animus.
Right. You have your inner animus, but
it can come to the fore in us if we need it.
Correct. Okay. And so although in the show it has to be a physical man, right? But what it's talking about is that physical man is actually this unconscious part of you. That's what I'm saying.
And all women have that.
All women
it may be more developed than others.
Right. So all I'm suggesting is look at this series and think of it in terms of that, particularly the Rufus Sewell character as representing this inner animus. Okay. And the two women, particularly, and there's several women in the program, but the two lead women representing women who need to have an animus figure. Okay. And I don't want to spoil it for you. So I'm resisting telling you anything about the plot beyond sort of the superficial plot on on season one, but all the season, 3 seasons are now available on Netflix. And so in total it's about 25 sessions. But it's worth looking at from an archetypal point of view. And this husband is kind of a bull in the china shop and, would be president of all kinds of stuff, but he's also on the outs, right? He's on the outs, so he's never going to make it himself. And so if
I'd like to ask Mary about these 4 women who confronted the church in the 90s, you said, Mary. Do you think that they were able to bring forward something like their inner animus to do that?
Yeah, I could see that these 4 women, they actually got together in a group and brought up this masculine side of them to take on the patriarchy in the church and in the government. And you could see that it was really strong masculine traits. It was like, even in their language, their physical demean was very masculine. They had to be. And to take on even the women that were in government at the time, they were going up against them. And it was a fight that lasted, well, it's still going on, where the people were outside the door only last week. They called their hunger strike off earlier this week. Again, it was that, bringing up that
Yes, you said that.
energy in them. Because you see, to be pretty and attractive woman in Ireland was very dangerous, right? You would be either put in the mental hospital or put in one of these institutions. So you had to always downplay the feminine, the beauty, the softness, because you would be punished for that.
Yeah.
And
Or
especially
you'd
if
be
you
put
were,
in a nunnery.
well, they wouldn't put them in the nunnery so much. What they would do is they'd lock them up in the places like what they call them, the mental institutions, or these mother and baby homes, or the Magdalene laundries, or they were basically workhouses,
Mm-hmm.
and there was 165,000 people, and they were mainly working class,
Yeah.
But these women were phenomenal. I mean, the strength of them and the power, and they used the media and the
Sure.
television to
Well,
shame the
and
women.
there's strength in numbers, right? Sometimes you have
Yeah,
to have your brothers with you. I mean, even
yeah,
Marines, we take our brothers, right?
yeah. It was the power
But
in
that,
numbers.
well,
Yeah,
and the 4 women, though, that those 4 women, without having that animus come forward, they couldn't have tackled that.
No,
And
yeah, it
I
would
would
have
like to
been,
say that about Hillary Clinton too.
yeah,
Without her, in the beginning, we still haven't had a female president
right.
in
You
this country.
you
I mean,
haven't.
all over the third world, there have been women.
Yeah, I've just
Yeah,
realised that you haven't had a woman
yeah,
premier yet.
yeah.
No.
But there is a woman prime minister of Japan now.
Yes, in Japan, there's one.
Yeah. Um,
But I mean, so the thing is that, yeah, I think in the beginning, in the beginning, it was a necessary thing, but now it's time to bring, like you were saying, Azine, it's time to bring the feminine, but we have to have both. We really
Yeah.
have to have both. And that's why it needs to be a partnership, men and women, and men to bring their feminine forward too.
Yes,
You know, like
absolutely.
you, Skip. I mean, we all applaud you for what you, I mean, I should speak for myself, I think, but I applaud you for,
Thank
you
you.
know, bringing that forward in yourself, you
Yeah,
know,
because I
especially
readily acknowledge that that's what I'm doing.
as an
You know,
ex-Marine. We
yeah,
need more of that,
yeah.
really.
And I've kind of become aware that I'm equating the predator here with masculinity and patriarchy, and it's not actually. It's not. So uh, late this afternoon, I spoke to one of my students that's doing a Viva. She's got an oral examination, and I said to her, my advice was, don't go in there and look like you don't know what you're talking about. You've got to go in there feeling strong. You've got to like argue with everything. I said, because as soon as you say, oh, I don't know that, I said, they'll come at you. I said, you'll have your examination board all over you. I said, and they will feel that they can start to attack.
Yep.
And I'm really describing like a pack of animals. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about academia.
Well, but academia has always been a pack of animals.
And I'm trying to give my students some advice so she can protect herself. But I can feel in myself, I'm equating that predator with something very patriarchal, but I think it's not men. I think that patriarchy is inside men, women,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and I need to remind myself of that.
Well, I guess so,
Men are
but
as
I
much
mean,
the victims of it as well as women.
Yeah, and men also are victims in patriarchy.
Yes,
For
so that's
sure.
We
what I
want to say, oh, women
like.
are, but men are pretty much
Men
victims
are
of
the
patriarchy.
victims of it as well. And at the moment, I think men are particularly being eaten up by
Yeah,
the patriarchy. They're not doing so.
definitely.
there's
Definitely.
a
Imbalance.
professor,
It's just imbalance.
yes, it's an imbalance. And there's by the way, Angie, there's a professor at NYU, I believe it is, who's written a book. Can't think of his name. Maybe somebody knows. It's called Notes on Being a Man. And I think it sounds like it's a really good, I'm going to get it for my son for
Uh,
Christmas because I can't think of his name, but that's the
Find it.
title. You can find it.
Yeah. I've got two sons and one daughter.
mhm.
My daughter has found life a lot easier than my two sons.
Yeah,
At
everybody says that,
at the
and
moment, and I'm not saying, one of my sons is a successful businessman. I'm not talking about money or, um, I'm just talking about a satisfying life. I
yeah.
don't know. I don't think there's the footprints there for men to follow at the moment. I think men are having to find a new way to walk, perhaps. I don't know. I'm not a man, but,
Well,
and it's,
I was certainly there back in 1993 when this book came out.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, I when I started to read this book, as I said, I read the entire book in 2 days. And uh, I was literally hungry for it. This was before I wrote my novel because it was my anima that came out in my novel. I know that now. I know that it relates to my anima. But I was hungry for something, that's for sure. And I'm not sure why. If I look back, I'm not sure why. I've been looking at Jungian psychology at the time for about 6 years at that point. And I don't know why I kept going on Jungian psychology, and I don't know why I was drawn to this book and why I'm drawn to Colleen and other leaders, okay, of all sorts.
There is a mystical element to this. There's definitely.
Surely.
I don't think she's actually so good. I don't think Clarissa is
Mm.
so good at bringing out the mystical side as Jung was.
Mm.
Very analytical, actually, the way that she cuts her stories up.
Yeah.
And I think Jung was perhaps better at conveying that mystical mystery about our internal world.
Well, and the thing that we have to be better at in education, and I'm talking about myself too, is activating the uh, fantasy life, not only fantasy life, but imaginative life of the children we teach. Okay.
Yeah.
We corral
I agree with
them.
that.
Pardon?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, what they do now in Maryland is just unconscionable. They have sliced and diced the whole curriculum from bottom to top, from kindergarten to 12th grade. And theoretically, at least, every social studies teacher should be teaching the same class on the same day, every place in Maryland. I mean, that's the way
I don't think it's that way in Texas too.
They call
yeah.
it sausage factory in this country. We're
Yeah,
pumping.
it's become a sausage factory, and it's, it's like the old joke about the consultant that knows 150 ways to make love but doesn't know any girls. And right?
Good
and so the educators know millions or tens of thousands of ways to teach something, but they don't know any children. Right? It's like that. They don't understand children at all. I mean, really, they don't.
They're stuck in the pleroma, I tell you. They haven't got a clue. They're running on their egos of what it should be.
Yeah, and they go out and get these pointless degrees. I mean, now what's happened, and I see it in my faculty, including my department chair, they're told that they have to get a doctorate, so they all go get a doctorate online. And that's not a doctorate. That's a diploma mill, right? They just want you to pay a certain amount of money, and then they'll award you a doctorate.
Everything's up for sale now, Skip. Everything.
Yeah, but it's nothing like a PhD from Princeton or from Harvard or any of the major schools. It's nothing like that. Nothing. Okay. And so unless you go to a major school or an excellent state school, the rigor in it is just not there. And so we have all these people running around with all these titles. And my DC, the first year I was teaching, she was trying to get her doctorate in education from Capella University, and she wanted me to participate in her thesis project. And when I read it, not only could I not understand what she was talking about, but it was total crap. It was total crap. And yet they awarded her a doctor of education.
Most PhDs are a little tiny piece of question about something that's completely non-significant and not going to change the world. And I just think sometimes, gosh, if we were all surviving tomorrow, all those jobs and trainings that people do, it wouldn't help people to live. They've got no survival skills. That's what you're saying. These
Yeah.
people might be clever, so-called
Yeah.
clever, but they can't survive. They haven't got the basic things
Well,
that Carissa's
yeah,
taught.
and we go through these curricula, and for example, in my school, we had 0 children passing the math test. 0 out of my school. None could pass the math, statewide standardized test. Not a one.
But they're giving you tests as well, Skip, that you've been doing every year. What was that one that you said you've done loads of times now and you keep on failing it?
Reading.
It's a ridiculous test.
Right. And so I failed it 3 times. Okay. And here's the thing. I'm allowed to teach. I did get certified in Maryland. So I am a certified teacher in Maryland in social studies. Okay. But to be certified as a special educator, I have to have both the special education praxis and the reading praxis. I passed the special education, but I have failed the reading practice 3 times. But one of my colleagues who has a doctorate in education in early childhood reading, that's what her specialty is. She has failed this test 12 times. 12 times.
Oh my God.
And so now here's the thing now. I'm allowed to teach out of my field for 2 years. Okay, so I don't have to be teaching social studies. I can be sort of temporary teaching special ed for 2 years. But then I have to go back to social studies. And my administrators are looking at that. We just had a social studies teacher leave because she's pregnant. We had another social studies teacher who got in a altercation with a student and was sent home. And we thought we were going to lose him for a quarter. He came back today, thank God, because they believed him, thank God. But the kid had pushed him down on the floor, and he got a 3-day suspension. That's all, the kid. But they blamed the guy, the teacher, and we thought we were going to lose another member of the social studies department. So, and I've missed the reading praxis by 7 points. The passing points was 159. I got 152. So at the end of this year, if I haven't passed that reading praxis, I won't be, technically, I'm not supposed to be teaching special ed for 7 points on this test. Okay. And I'm one of the most experienced teachers in this environment now.
The predator has changed for us. This is what I'm hearing, Skip. It sounds like you've got a predator chasing your tail, and the rules of the game are not. They're not good rules because we don't know how to. You're revising for this test and you're still not passing it.
Yeah.
But this is the predator now. The predator is it's not good.
Well, it's Educational Testing Service, which is milking this test. People are trying to get into the profession and they're willing to pay over and over again for the same freaking test. So, in my case, I just told the principal, if I don't pass this time, I'm going to take it again on December 6th. If I don't pass this time, I'm not doing it anymore. Yeah. Okay. I've passed 2 bar exams. Okay, 2. And I've got real doctoral degrees. I have a real doctoral degree. I have a real MBA.
It's not a good test, Skip.
Yeah, it's not a good test.
It's biting at your heels, and I can feel it worrying at you. And it's not a good test, and you're judging yourself.
No, I'm not judging myself anymore because I know it's a false test, and it's really a shame that they're putting teachers through this. Okay. And I do understand that they've been sued in South Carolina and had to settle. But in any case, leaving that aside, I guess I should go and
Yeah, you should. Debbie's going to be after you.
right, she
Yep.
is. Right.
At
So
6 o'clock.
so excuse me, we'll continue next week. And I
Okay.
did want to ask Ava. Ava, have you had a chance to listen to the videos that I've now posted?
Yes, I have been listening to some of them. Yes.
And so it's working for you fine, is that right?
What?
I mean, YouTube is working for you fine.
Yes, yes.
You're
It's so good to have this to do it over again, because this is this takes time, and it's so important in it just reading together. I get
Yeah.
it in a new way now.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah, it's a bit like
Okay.
Eric said about those 4 women on our own. Things are different. Discussing things, bringing ideas together.
Yeah.
It changes it, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Yes.
surely does. And so, never doubt that a small group of people can change the world, because it's the only thing that ever has.
That's right.
That's Margaret Mead's insight, but it's absolutely true. And
those 4 women in Ireland prove it too.
I know. Do you
yeah,
know what?
absolutely.
It was with those women in Ireland. That's when I became an activist and started to work with, and I haven't stopped in 25 years
Hmm.
with them, because being part of the group, there is power in it. And it's wonderful when you're part of collective movement
Right.
that forces the
Well,
change.
and I have noticed that, several hundred people have watched these videos, the ones that I have posted. I will try to get more up this weekend. I haven't caught up to where we are, but I'm trying. Okay.
I need to watch the one from last week so I can get caught up.
Well, I haven't posted that yet, but I'm up to October 22nd, and by Saturday I'll try to catch the rest of them. Okay.
That's okay. I'm going to go back and read everything too. Well, it was great tonight. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you for all for being here, and thank you especially to the professionals that are here, that are with us. And peace be with you. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for being with us, Mertz, because seeing you encourages me, because I know you've been dealing with a school that's somewhat like mine, and
Yes.
and with the similar types of things. And when we first met, I had not had this experience, and now
True.
I'm having it.
Yes.
I understand what you're dealing with.
Much pain.
What?
Common pain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, it makes me feel closer to you. Even if I can't send you a gift, for crying out loud, I can't send you a gift.
Don't worry about that. Being here is a gift to me. Being here for all those years, we met in 2019.
Yeah.
And we're here.
Yeah, we're still here.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to post some more this weekend, and I wish you all a good week. Take care now.
Good week, everybody.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye.